Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm super stoked to be able to give you the first looks and overview of the new resilient suppressor Stacy's Mom K. To any of you that may be unfamiliar, the full-size Stacy's Mom came out a couple months ago, maybe a few months ago at this point. It is considered one of the budget cans, cans that you can find for around $500 that has really good tone. One thing that makes it a little bit different, and I think a lot of people compared this can, the full-size can originally, to the Otter Creek Labs Polonium. Something that makes this a bit different than the Polonium is the fact that you can have different vented end caps. So as it comes, the Stacy's Mom K does come with the solid end cap. You can additionally purchase the medium vent end cap and the high flow or full vent end cap. To expand on that a little bit more, as the Stacy's Mom K comes, it does have the solid end cap installed. So it'll be just like your typical sealed suppressor, similar to the Otter Creek Labs Polonium. With the additional purchase of the full vent end cap or the medium end cap, it will allow more gases to escape from the front, which will allow you to run this can and kind of tune it, so to speak, to the muzzle signature and sound and flash that you prefer. Now, don't mistake this for being a flow through or a high flow suppressor, because it's not. And Resilient does not claim it to be a low back pressure suppressor. It is simply, with the different end caps, allows you to tune the sound signature, the flash at the muzzle. So if you run this can with the solid end cap, it is going to create the highest back pressure, and it is also going to result in the quietest muzzle signature. That will also result in less reflections during room clearing or an urban environment. And if you choose to go with either the medium or the full vent end cap, that is going to increase the shooter's ear performance, but it's going to come at a loss to the muzzle performance. The sound will be a bit more boomy. So I do want to mention before we get too deep into the video that this particular video is not going to have any shooting done in it. This is just going to be the basic overview, the different features of the can, along with some of the dimensions, especially comparatively to the Otter Creek Labs Polonium K, which this can is supposed to be a direct competitor to. Also, full disclosure, I did receive this can free from Resilient. I just had to pay the tax stamp for the Form 4. Tyler, the CEO and founder of Resilient, had reached out to me, asked me if I would review this can. He would go ahead and send it along with the end caps. As far as the relationship goes with Resilient or Tyler, not really a relationship at all. He's active in the gun community and the various Facebook forums, Reddit, subreddits, whatnot. I had done a review on their Putnik. If you want to see that video, I will post a link down below. So I was super happy with their can. He had commented on some of my things, and when I had an issue, when I thought I broke my Putnik, he helped me through that. So he happened to find out that I also had a YouTube channel. I don't typically advertise that in the social media groups, but he asked me if I wanted to review, and I said I would, so which allowed me to present with you guys a sneak peek of this before its official launch date of July 1st, which as of today, it's a little more than 3.5 weeks away. I will have a second part of this video that I will come out with in a few days when I go to the range and be able to run this side by side on my 13-inch Galils that I have. Have done similar silencer comparisons before, kind of give you the best comparative video on pretty much identical hose. So to talk about a little bit more about the end cap. So this is the fully sealed one that comes equipped with the Stacy's Mom K. You can see how it sits there. You do notice that it is recessed. So I assume that these are flash hider tines. I'm not exactly sure, but you can see that it does sit flush. It does not protrude, allowing you to snag on anything. But as you notice, it does sit mostly flush. Another thing that's really cool about the Stacy's Mom K is that these end caps do not require any type of special tool. So, I did recently do a review on a Dead Air Primal. That was my first Dead Air can with those, I believe it's the R series end caps. It does require an additional specialty tool. I don't remember off the top of my head what it costs. I think it was like 40-50 bucks. But with this, you can simply use a coin. You can use a house key. You could use a screwdriver if you want, but all you simply need to do is turn it off like so. So removing the fully sealed end cap, you see here how it is a bit tapered, where it sits down here inside of the can. And it wants you to look at the side profile there. Now, if you take that into comparison with the fully vented end cap, you can see the profile difference there. Now, I'm not 100% sure if the radius that you have on that shoulder is different between the two, but you can definitely see the height difference there. So I'm going to assume that it does look like it's a slightly different radius. It does also look like the countersink or the shoulder is not quite as deep as it is on the fully sealed end cap, which I assume is going to allow that once it sits down here into the chamfer here, it's going to allow some leakage around the shoulder and then out around the top of the cap. So let me go ahead and put that in for you real quick. So here's the fully end cap installed. I don't know if you're going to be able to catch it on camera, but you can definitely see how there's a gap around the perimeter of the head of the end cap. It does also sit a little bit, it protrudes a little bit from the end of the can, not very much, but that will allow more gases to escape from around here and not just out the end of the end cap. Now here is a side profile view of the medium end cap with the fully vented. See slightly different profile there. I am going to go ahead. I think the best way to kind of show the difference between them is if I lay them on the ends here, side by side by side, and you can kind of get a better picture of what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and drop a picture in that now. So another thing that is similar to the full-size Stacy's mom is the mount. So the K model does also come with the 1 3/8 by 24 hub threads. So any mounting solution that you want to run that is hub compatible will work with the Stacy's mom K. So in this instance, I am running the Huxworks Hub QD mount, since the majority of my hosts do run Huxworks muzzle devices. But any mounting solution that is hub compatible, you can also run on the Stacy's mom K. One thing that is different from the full-size version is the mounting depth. So the length that you have from the taper up to the first blast baffle, that's going to be limited to 1.7 inches. So if you go on Resilient's website and you look at the stats for the full-size Stacy's mom, they do not actually say how deep that is. It does say that it's compatible with most muzzle devices that are used with pin and welded for 13.7s and 14.5s. You look at something like the Surefire, I believe that's like a 2.3 inch. A lot of other muzzle devices are also similar size to that. So that may be something that you have to take in consideration if you want to go with the K. It is going to be limited to a 1.7 inch muzzle device. With that said, I do want to clarify a little bit that is 1.7 inch mounting depth. So for example, this Huxworks mount here, it is 2.3 inches overall, but the mounting depth is only 1.7. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk a little bit more specifics about the Stacy's mom K. So why did Resilient choose to make the suppressor? So they wanted to make a budget K suppressor that offered a little bit more than what the current competitors are offering. Adding things like wrench flats, that is something that is super helpful to have. With the OCL Polonium, you don't have wrench flats on there. You do have to use one of those tube clamps that you put in a vise block. I know, like with the Dead Air Primal, it's got little notches for a spanner wrench, neither of which feel very good about getting a lot of torque down onto. Being able to simply put a wrench on here, whether it to be to get it off of your gun or whether it to be to torque down a mount down in the field, it is a lot easier to have. But they wanted to have the lowest muzzle signature for room clearing and duty applications requiring users to move in and out of the tight spaces with short barrels. They do say that this can is perfect for 10.3 to 12.5 inch host firearms, whether you're using it for CQB applications or urban environments. I just do want to mention again that, this is not considered to be a low back pressure suppressor. So, the different end caps, again, they will give you different muzzle signature and a little bit different tone. I'm sure that it is going to have some effect on the gas blowback that you get to your face and cycling through your gun. And in my next video, not only am I going to compare it to the Polonium K, I am also going to compare it to the Huxworks Flow 556K. Now, sound-wise, I know it's going to blow it out of the water because this is just not a quiet can. Just be very curious to see the gas blowback difference that you get with the different end caps, but more specifically, the fully vented one. All right, so now moving on to more stats of the Stacy's Mom K. I am going to compare it to the Polonium K, considering that that is what Resilient, they want it to be a direct competitor. And I think that most people are probably also going to compare those two cans together. So let's talk about price. So first off, MSRP on the Stacy's Mom K is going to be about $554.99, though they expect street price to be more around $535. If you go on Silencer Shop's website right now, they've got the Polonium K at $522. It's currently on back order. It's not in stock, but a little bit of price difference there. Lengthwise, Stacy's Mom K comes in at 4.935 inches long, whereas the Polonium K comes in at 4.8. The weight without the mount, and the length was also without the mount, but the weight without the mount is 11.8 ounces on the Stacy's Mom K, where it's 11.5 ounces with the Polonium K. Diameter, Stacy's Mom K comes at 1.615, whereas the Polonium K is 1.625. Both have high temp Cerakote on them. Both do come with the hub compatible mount, but it also does come with, both of them come with a 1/2 by 28 adapter for direct thread. Construction wise, they're both made out of 17.4 stainless steel and CNC welded. Talked about the mounting depth of the Stacy's Mom K. So with the Polonium K, it is not advertised. So I did some Google searching quickly, maybe spent 10 minutes looking around. Google AI told me that the mounting depth, I guess somebody in some forum somewhere measured it, and it's only 1.6 inches deep. So it is something, if that's accurate, something that is to keep in the mind depending on the muzzle device that you have. I know that Reardon is a really big popular choice right now. It is a great mount, and some of their mounts are a bit more shallow, shorter. But there is a bit out there that are longer than 1.6. So again, not sure if that's 100% what the mounting depth is, but they definitely do not publish it. OCL does not publish it on their website. Getting into minimum barrel length and caliber restrictions. So with the Stacy's Mom K, if you're shooting 243 Winchester, 6mm Creedmoor, 6mm Dasher, or 6mm BR, you're going to have a 12.5-inch minimum barrel restriction. That is the same with the OCL Polonium K. They do differ now once you get to 5.56/223 or 6mm arc, whereas the Stacy's Mom K has a 10.3-inch minimum barrel restriction, but the OCL Polonium K, it has a 7.5-inch minimum barrel restriction. So pretty big difference there. Something to keep in mind. So now let's talk about usage. So the Stacy's Mom, it's a standard duty use suppressor. It is not a belt fed suppressor. It's designed for normal combat loadout of 210 rounds of 5.56 with typical semi-auto rate of fire, along with some full auto use. The suppressor, it should not exceed 1,000 degrees. In comparison, the OCL Polonium K, it is full auto rated, quote, no BS. So it says responsible belt fed rated on a 16-inch 5.56 belt fed machine gun. It says do not exceed 300 round strings without cooldown. So I kind of feel like in layman terms, there is some specifics, but also some ambiguity. So take that for what you will. I don't think the majority of people out there are shooting full auto guns or belt-fed machine guns, but maybe I'm also wrong. These the forced reset triggers, along with binary triggers, they are definitely getting more and more popular since we Rare Breed won the case against the ATF. So maybe that is a valid point that you want to keep in consideration. So size-to-wise comparison for K cans, you see Stacy's Mom K, Polonium K, and then Huxworks Flow 5.56K. So obviously different materials, kind of 3D printed stainless here. The Flow 5.56K does look shorter, but that is because of the mount. As you see, the mount does end right here. So if you were to look at that, technically the Flow 5.56K is a little bit longer. But we're going to go ahead and roll that out. I don't really feel this is comparative here. Size-wise, yes. Sound-wise, I already know that the Stacy's Mom K is going to blow the Flow 556K out of the water. So you see very, very similar looking cans, exception to the end caps. And then also with the Stacy's Mom K having the wrench flats on here, whereas the Polonium K does not. So let's talk a little bit more about why you may want to go with the Stacy's Mom K over the OCL Polonium K. So again, like I mentioned, price, the Stacy's Mom K is going to go for about $13 more. Price is negligible. I know some of you say, well, yeah, well, you have to buy the end caps, and the end caps being $65 a piece, which is not, just a drop of a drop in a bucket. And while that is true, it is additional money if you want the different venting on here. At least it is an option. That is not an option that is currently offered by Otter Creek's Labs or really anybody. So, really a pretty innovative idea. I guess we'll find out more how effective that is once I get it out to the range this weekend and maybe we'll put some rounds through it. But size and weight wise, they're both very, very similar. I think the mounting depth advantage is going to go to the Stacy's Mom K. Again, there may be a concern for some of you who have the really long muzzle devices on there. And again, can't solidify what the mounting depth is here. Again, just based on a Google search, it seems to be limited to about 1.6. So very similar, same construction, same type of welding, very similar size, length, diameter, weight, all that type of stuff. So again, I think the thing that's really going to set this apart is going to be the vented end caps and the difference that it makes changing some of them out. All right, so that about wraps up this overview and first looks at the Resilient Suppressor Stacy's Mom K. If you did like this content, I would ask you if you would please hit the like and subscribe button. Get any of my new videos that come out. Share the video as much as you possibly would. It does help out with the YouTube algorithm. I will have that follow-up video with shooting impressions in a few days, as of June 11th. I won't be able to make it there till this weekend, so a few days from now, less than a week, I'll have the shooting impression videos out there, really comparing these two cans side by side. Again, I will throw in the Huxworks Flow 556K for comparison purposes with the how the gas blowback is with the vented end caps. When I do get that follow-up video shot where I'm getting shooting impressions and being able to compare the two of these, I will link that video into this one. It will probably be sometime after June 16th. And for that video, I will be mounting these cans on my IWI Galil Aces. They're both 13-inch barrels. One is a Gen 2, one is a Rock and Lock version. Yeah, sure, you got different mag capacities or capabilities on those. You do have different magazines that you use on those, but overall the gun is exactly the same. I think that's going to give us the best side-by-side comparison. I may also go ahead and run them on a 12.5-inch AR. I do have my 12.5-inch build. I have my wife's 12.5-inch build. They are different barrels, though. I don't know how much different that's going to make. May or may not go throw that one in there. So if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Share the video as much as you possibly can. It does definitely help out the algorithm with YouTube. Drop some comments in there. Love hearing all the feedback that I get from all of you. So until the follow-up video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.